The partial government shutdown in the United States continues with no agreement between lawmakers taking place in Congress. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of federal workers are affected, along with thousands more government contractors. Ebru News correspondent Kyle Schmoyer joins us live now from Washington, D.C., where he has been following the developments on this day 2 of the shutdown. Kyle.
Well, good evening, Logan. You know, if you are a fan of political theater, this is the place to be. Right now, we have Republicans in the House trying to pass legislation piecemeal to fund certain parts of the government. Democrats in the Senate say they're not interested in that at all, and the Senate itself is in recess until at least 10:30 tomorrow morning. And right now, across town at the White House, President Obama meeting for the first time with congressional leaders, sitting down with them since the government shutdown. Day 2 of the partial government shutdown, and those who cover the halls of Congress every day see much of the same.
It is just a bunch of press conferences, both sides yelling at each other through TV cameras, and not really having any signs that they're going to sit down and hammer this out in any other way.
Lawmakers are at work, but mostly spending time blaming each other for closing government.
Isn't it time to end the Republican shutdown?
Last night, House Republicans once again showed up and took action to stop the bleeding of Harry Reid's government shutdown.
We all know who it was. It was the small band of Tea Party people in the House. It was his junior colleague in the Senate, Ted Cruz, who had the idea of shutting down the government.
While House Republicans continue to support passing smaller funding bills to fund specific parts of the government, including Veterans Affairs, National Parks and Monuments, and the National Institutes of Health, Democrats and President Obama are rejecting that approach.
There's a lot of people in the building who are watching this CR fight saying the White House isn't going to bend, the Senate's not going to bend, and it's a real scary proposition to have this happen again on the debt ceiling,
which needs to be raised prior to October 17th, or the U.S. faces financial default. So some in Congress from both parties are floating the idea of a 2-for-1.
Some type of deal could include the debt ceiling. That would be in October. Obviously, they could pass a debt ceiling increase before then if they were to reach some type of deal. But in terms of what that would entail or how long it takes, at this point, we have no idea.
In the meantime, each side continues to point fingers and offer differing paths toward a solution on the shutdown.
There is room for us to talk, to cooperate, and have a conversation. But this position that is being taken by the majority leader in the Senate, as well as the president, that there will be no negotiations, is not something that I think the American people would want.
It's about doing the right thing for the American people. They expect us to act like adults. We actually work for the American people. They sent us here to get things done, not to play these silly games.
And Majority Leader Reid there, joined by Mitch McConnell, John Boehner, and Nancy Pelosi, those congressional leadership at the White House right now, speaking with the president. I can tell you earlier today, we learned from sources here on the Hill that Boehner and Reid did have about a 10-minute conversation, which sources say was kind of rare in their dealings here, but apparently both men in private stuck to the same talking points that we have seen them having on camera in front of the microphones for the last few days, weeks, if not here. And so a lot of people around here not too sure what can come out of this meeting at the White House. Fingers are crossed, but right now, optimism not too high. That's the very latest live tonight on Capitol Hill. Logan?
Kyle, what's the scuttlebutt on the street? What's the reaction of ordinary folks who are impacted by this?
I think a lot of people are frustrated right now, Logan. You know, not only do you have the 800,000 federal employees, many of them working right here in the district, but also around the country. They are out of work right now in their second day of not getting paid. But like you said off the top of the program tonight, there are those federal contractors as well who are not working right now. We know that the museums and the monuments and the national parks around the country continue to be closed. Tourists don't like that. You know, a lot of people spend some big money to come here to the nation's capital, and right now they can't be taking in the full experience. So from those being unemployed right now down to those visiting, a lot of people are unhappy. A lot of signs we're seeing people have here around Capitol Hill today saying, get back to work, you work for us, and we want a job done. We'll see if lawmakers are hearing that message.
All right, Ebru's Kyle Schmoyer reporting live tonight from the National Capitol. Thank you so much for your time.